If you're sitting there and you're not building momentum and you feel like you're stagnant and you feel like you're holding yourself back and you're comparing yourself to others instead of comparing your daily actions to your own highest values and dreams, it's time to get on with your life and do something even more profound. Everybody's seen a train going down a track. And the engine of that train and all the train that's behind it is pretty heavy. If you can imagine, actually, the weight of a train engine going over you, that's very massive. It's very heavy. It's got a lot of engine. And when it first takes off, it's really slow. But then it starts to pick up its velocity, its speed. And as it does, if you multiply the mass of the engine and all the train cars that are behind it, times the speed, velocity, mass times velocity determines momentum. So you might want to write that momentum equals mass times velocity. Now, it's going down a track. We could use a metaphor. The track is the track of our purpose or the main primary objective or primary mission that we have in life that we're pursuing. The thing that's most important in our life. As I know, every time I do a talk, I always mention values. So this would be the very thing at the very top of the value list. Whatever is most important, most meaningful, most inspiring, most intrinsically calling, the thing that you love doing, that you can't wait to get up in the morning and do, that's the track. That's the mission. That's the purpose. Now you have a mass, but your velocity is based, if you multiply it times your mass, you get to know how you become unstoppable. Now what's interesting is, if you're a young boy and you have as a highest value video games, you spontaneously act on it. Whatever's highest on your value, you spontaneously act on. But when you're doing something low on your values, you procrastinate, hesitate, frustrate. You need somebody to motivate you to do it. So you're most efficient, most effective, most inspired when you're doing what's highest on your value. When you do, you have the least resistance, the most intrinsic, you might say, drive, and your engine becomes unstoppable. So everybody has a hierarchy of values. If we live according to what's highest on our value list, we increase the probability of being clear about what our track is, our mission in life, and spontaneously being inspired to act without resistance. So we have the fastest speed. And if you notice, whenever you set a goal and you do achieve it, you tend to set a more unobtainable goal, a bigger goal. And eventually you achieve that. And then you set an even more unobtainable goal. It's a more challenging goal. It gets bigger. Whenever you're pursuing something that's deeply meaningful and inspiring to you and you achieve it, you tend to want to achieve something greater. And whenever you're doing something that's lower on your values, you tend to not want to have to work so hard. You want to avoid the challenges and seek the immediate gratifying ease. So you procrastinate, hesitate, and frustrate on something that takes a lot of effort, but not on the thing that's most important. So if you want to build momentum, you want to make sure that you keep to priority and keep to what you value most. I've used the analogy of a young boy who loves his video game. When he does his video games and he's doing what he really loves, he'll stay out there until 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I have a son that did that. And you can't even get him to go to sleep. They don't want to be stopped. They just want to keep going because they love what they're doing. But if you ask him to do his homework, his chores, clean his room or something like that, he'll procrastinate, he'll stop pretty quick, and he's not going to want to keep going. If you're not consistently moving towards something that's deeply meaningful and inspiring, and you're not building up an accelerated pace, or at least a faster velocity towards it, you're not going to get to a point where your momentum is unstoppable. That's why to start and stop and to do a job and go, I don't want to do it, do another job, that doesn't inspire me, and go from job to job or relationship to relationship or to objective, and not really find something that's deeply meaningful, you're not likely to build great momentum. One of my mentors told me a long time ago, find the thing that you love doing, the one thing, as Gary Keller says it, and stick to it and don't stop doing it. Just keep doing it and you'll become, in a sense, momentum building and unstoppable. Mine happens to be the breakthrough experience. I've done it 1,166 times. About to do another 2 this week coming up. And when you stop and think about it, you just keep doing it and you end up building momentum. The speed in which you do it builds momentum. So you want to make sure that you're going after the thing that you really love in life so you have the fastest velocity. So you end up having the mass times the velocity, build yourself a momentum. And then it's like a train, you can't stop it. When it gets going and it gets faster and faster, it's not stoppable. If it goes off the track, it'll just keep going right into the dirt, right through trees, right through cars. It'll just keep going. I wonder what would happen if all of a sudden we found out what our real mission is. Our mission is an expression of our highest value. The most inspiring, spontaneous acting aspect of our life is that highest value. Mine has teaching. That's why I love teaching the breakthrough experience, because I watch the momentum that it does and the impact it has on the people it touches. Anybody that's in its way are going to be transformed and they're going to have a trajectory change because you can't stop somebody who's on a mission. If you go through and prioritize your life and do the things that are really important to you, you don't need to be motivated or reminded to do it, and you're going to do it spontaneously. Again, the young boy who loves his video games, he won't stop on his video games. He'll do it to wee hours of the morning, and he doesn't want to stop, and he builds momentum. The second he gets past one game, he goes on to the more advanced game. And the second he does that, he builds up momentum, he goes to the next game. And he doesn't want to stop until he's bought all the games in the particular area that he loves, and he just keeps going. But again, you try to get him to do his homework or chores or clean up his room, not likely to do that. As a mother or father, you don't have to say, hey, Johnny, go do your video games and stop doing your homework. Not likely. It's the other way around. Because whatever's highest on his values, he loves doing and he becomes unstoppable. Whatever's low on his values, he stops doing and becomes unmovable. You can't get him to move. And the same thing, if a child doesn't see how the classes he's taken in school or the chores he's doing at home or the actions he's doing cleaning his room is going to help him fulfill what he loves most, which is video games, he's not going to do it. And you're going to have to push him uphill. And pushing uphill doesn't build momentum. In fact, it reverses it. So you want to use your hierarchy of values in your favor and identify it. On my website, drdemartini.com, I have a value determination process, 13 very, very precise questions that if you answer them very honestly, it can help you determine what's really meaningful to you, what your life demonstrates, what is actually revealed by your daily actions. Because your hierarchy of values is revealed in your daily actions that you do spontaneously, that you love doing. But go on there and take advantage of that and do the value determination process. Do it again a week later, a month later, and maybe 3 months later, and take a look at what's really priority to you that keeps showing up. And then it's wise to start structuring your life around what's most important. My highest value of all the values is teaching. The second one is researching and writing. I constantly do that. I do that throughout the day. And the next one is traveling. So if you look carefully, what are your top values, particularly that top one, and prioritize your life and start filling your day with that highest priority one, you're going to build momentum. You're going to be like that train going down the track. You're going to be clear. See, our ontological purpose, our ontological identity revolves around that. Our teleological purpose revolves around that. Our epistemological knowledge revolves around that highest value. So you get to know yourself, you get to be yourself, you get to love yourself when you're doing what's highest on the values, and you become unstoppable. Nobody can stop somebody who's on a mission. You know, an individual that's on a mission at work and loves what they're doing will sit there and work wee hours of the morning. They don't care about the hours that's being imposed on them. They're willing to get the job done. They don't want to stop. Whether it be in work or whether it be in athletics or whether it be in studies, doesn't matter what it is. If you're doing something you love doing, nobody goes to work for the sake of a company. They go to work for the sake of fulfilling their values. Nobody goes to school for the sake of just taking a class. They go there to fulfill their values. Nobody gets in a relationship just for the get in a relationship unless it's fulfilling their values. Every decision we make is based on what we believe will give us the greatest advantage or disadvantage at any moment in time to our values, the hierarchy of our values. So go online, determine your values, start prioritizing your life. Ask yourself, what is the highest priority action I can do today that can help me fulfill what's most meaningful to me, my purpose in life, and that serves the greatest number of people, because there's some fulfillment by doing something of service. Delegate the lower priority things. You may think, well, I don't have anybody to delegate it to. Well, you're not going to build a momentum and do something unstoppable if you're having to do everything that goes on in your day from every aspect. If you're not delegating lower priority things, you won't be able to spend time on the highest priority things where you're actually unstoppable and want to build momentum. So give yourself permission to do what's really most important. If you go make a list of every single thing that you do in a day, all day, every day for weeks, and take a look at what you're doing, and then take a look at where it is in the meaning list. How meaningful is it? How productive is it? And really do an honest evaluation. You realize that you could be majoring in minors and minoring in majors and not doing what's really important and priority to you. If you do, you're going to hold back momentum. Your velocity is going to be lower. Whenever you're doing something that's high in your value, your energy goes up. Whenever you're doing something low in your values, your energy goes down. Your energy times the movement is what drives that momentum. So if you go and raise your energy, you're going to speed up the process. You're going to be more effective, more efficient. You're going to be more prioritized. You're going to be more empowered. It was Alec McKinsey in his book on the time trap that showed that people who are living according to their highest values do more executive planning. They live in their executive center. They're more governed. They're less distracted by impulses and instincts that throw us off and cause us all kind of inefficiencies. But if we go and we prioritize our life and delegate lower priority things and find people that would love to do the things that aren't really the things that inspire us, that we feel trapped doing, we automatically free up energy. When I was in practice many years ago, when I was 27 years old, I opened up a little practice at a 970 square foot little office. I had one staff member, and she was doing mainly administrative. I was doing mainly clinical, but I was doing a lot of stuff. And I was kind of feeling frustrated and burdened a bit by doing stuff that really wasn't what I was educated for and wasn't really what I was inspired to do, which was basically teaching and healing and being involved in that topic. The second I hired somebody, I read a book called The Time Trap by Alec McKinsey. And the second I followed what it said and I started to hire somebody to do lower priority things that gave me more time to do the higher priority things, I felt lighter. I felt more professional. I found out my business went up. My income went up. I found out that I had the ability to delegate and train the individuals and let them take care of the stuff that I really wasn't inspired to do. The weight went down. The burden went down. The gravity of the situation went down. And I levied it up. I lightened up. My energy went up. My inspiration went up. My desire to want to go to work went up. And I started having more patience, more income, more outreach. And I started delegating more and more and more and more. And as the more I delegated, the more I got onto motion, the more I freed myself up, and my income went up. My business went up. My outreach went up. And here I am now 41 years later, more than 41 and a half years later, I'm still going and I've still got momentum and unstoppable. It's because I prioritized and delegated, and I got onto what was most meaningful and inspiring, where I was intrinsically called to act. I encourage you to take the time to go on and do the value determination process, or better yet, come to the breakthrough experience where I actually help you go through that and show you how to dissolve distractions that weigh you down, show you how to release the things that you're feeling burdened having to do. I always say either go do what you love through delegating or love what you do through linking. If you say, well, I don't know how I'm going to delegate. I got all this stuff at home. I don't know how I can delegate that. Well, you could be delegating it to specialists if you have the ability to go out and do something even more inspiring. The cost and the freedom and the health benefits will be there. But if you go and delegate and hire people to do that, you will end up freeing up more energy to produce more. My income went up when I did that. My vitality went up when I did that. My outreach went up when I did that. I wanted to make a difference. My difference that I made went up because I did that. That's why in the breakthrough experience, I teach people how to dissolve emotional distractions, all the phobias and fears that make you stop yourself taking command, prioritizing, and delegating. all the things that you give as excuses, all the limiting ideas that you're subordinating to other people. See, the moment we compare ourselves to other people and put them on a pedestal, we'll minimize ourselves. And the second we minimize ourselves, our energy goes down, our confidence goes down. We don't take action. We're afraid to delegate, and we hold on to stuff that's burdened, that slows down our momentum, you might say, our speed of action, our velocity, and we end up having more weighted, resistance in our life. And that's why I tell people to come to the breakthrough experience, because if they do the breakthrough experience and they go through and they actually open up their heart to doing what they love and give themselves permission to shine, not shrink, and to go out and radiate, not gravitate, and go on and do something more amazing with their life, they become unstoppable. I had a lovely young girl that I met many years ago, maybe 7 years ago or 6 years ago, that was in Las Vegas, that was a young girl that had a fashion design, and it was amazing. Her name was Hanalei Swan. She did an amazing job, and she did a presentation and blew everybody away in her presentation. She was 11 years old at the time. And because she found out what she wanted to do at a young age, she got moving on it. She's an artistic, creative, ingenious young lady. And she went out and did something amazing because she got on track. She put her engine into motion. She became unstoppable. I think her family's company is involved in Unstoppable. It's a classical example of what happens when people get inspired by what they do. So I tell people, prioritize your life. Give yourself permission to be authentic. Your authentic self is an expression of what you value most. Your energy will go up. You will gain momentum. You will become unstoppable. You will make more income. You'll end up being more inspired by your life and grateful for your life. The very executive center in the forebrain gets lit up and gets momentum and blood and glucose and oxygen the second you live by highest priorities. And that's the area that ends up giving you inspired vision, strategic planning, executing plans, and self-governance. So if you want more self-mastery, if you want more momentum, you want to have more energy and vitality, you want to not procrastinate, hesitate, and frustrate, you want to have more life, if you will, and you want to be like an engine going down the track that's unstoppable, prioritize your life. And go online, take advantage of the prioritization process, the value determination process, come to the breakthrough experience where I can actually teach you how to dissolve all the distractions to get you focused, so you're clear, and to get you back on priority. If you do that, your life will change, the trajectory will change, and you become unstoppable. When I ask millions of people around the world, how many of you want to make a difference in the world, they all put their hands up. And then when I get and put them on confront and say, okay, what exactly is that difference you're going to make? Sometimes they're not clear. I guarantee you the reason why they're not clear is because they're subordinating to other people, comparing themselves to other people, clouding the clarity of what their mission is, not living by highest priority, trying to please all the other people for fear of being rejected, and they're holding themselves back from doing something extraordinary by living by priority and delegating and getting the people that you're worried about their opinions to help work on your behalf by mastering the art of communicating what you're doing in terms of their values. Now you become unstoppable. That's why I tell people again to go to the breakthrough experience. I teach people how to do that, how to live their life more inspired and more fulfilled and with more energy and more vitality and doing something more and meaningful to their life. If you're sitting there and you're not building momentum and you feel like you're stagnant and you feel like you're holding yourself back and you're comparing yourself to others instead of comparing your daily actions to your own highest values and dreams, it's time to get on with your life and do something even more profound, because it's time to go out and do what's meaningful to you in your life by priority. So this particular presentation that I want to share today was about basically building momentum and becoming unstoppable. Remember the train. Remember prioritization. The engine of the train is your forebrain. Your forebrain is the engine of your train. If you live by priority, your forebrain comes alive. If you live by lower priority, your hindbrain is running your life. And one is living by foresight, one is living by hindsight. Hindsight can never compete with foresight. Foresight plans, strategizes, executes, mitigates risk, sees vision, delegates things, gets on with it, self-governs the distractions of impulses and instincts of the amygdala, which is the animal brain that makes you crazy. And that's why I tell people to do the breakthrough experience. I want to teach you how to live by the forebrain, not the hindbrain, by the executive center, not the amygdala, by systems one thing to two thinking, where you're actually doing things by reason, not impulse and emotion. One weighs you down, one lightens you up. If you want to be enlightened and get on with it, let's start prioritizing your life and giving yourself permission to be yourself. The magnificence of who that you are, the real you, the one that revolves around your highest value, your ontological being, the essence of your existence, is when you live by your highest priority. That's when the power is built and you become unstoppable. So I look forward to seeing you go to the website and do the value determination, and definitely come to the breakthrough experience, because that's where I can help you specifically break through whatever you see is in your way and show you how to put it on the way, so you can build an unstoppable momentum that inspires you and other people and make a difference in your life. So thank you for joining me today. Go on the website, take advantage of the value determination, come to the breakthrough experience where I can spend 24 hours with you and blow your mind and transform your life with 50 years worth of knowledge. And let's get moving. Let's get on it. Let's build a team together and let's go out and do something extraordinary with our lives. If you think you can't do it, that's the reason to come. If you think it's too costly, that's the reason to come, because that's what's stopping you. Your belief systems and your focus on the things that are distracting instead of the actual mission that you want to accomplish. Come and join me for the breakthrough experience so I can help you fulfill your mission. And let's go build momentum and become unstoppable. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next week.